you your radio. Whoa. Touching edges on your stereo, yeah. Mutabaruka leads the way, so just you let the station play, yeah. Say your teachings got to hold on me, yeah. But this is Kimani and you're listening to, Mutabaruka. IRFM, Cutting Edge. Whoa!
Teach these truths to your children. Teach your children that they need nothing exterior to themselves to be happy. No person, place, or thing. And that true happiness is found within. Teach them that they are sufficient unto themselves. Teach them this, and you will have taught them grandly. Teach your children that failure is a fiction, that every trying is a success, and that every effort is what achieves the victory, with the first no less honorable than the last. Teach them this, and you will have taught them grandly. Teach your children that they are deeply connected to all of life, that they are one with all people, and that they are never separate from God. Teach them this, and you will have taught them grandly. Teach your children that they live in a world of magnificent abundance, that there is enough for everyone, and that it is in sharing the most, not in gathering the most, that the most is received. Teach them this, and you will have taught them grandly. Teach your children that there is nothing that they are required to be or to do to be eligible for a life of dignity and fulfillment, that they need not compete with anyone for anything, and that God's blessings are meant for everyone. Teach them this, and you will have taught them grandly.
Teach your children that they will never be judged, that they need not worry about always getting it right, and that they do not have to change anything or get better to be seen as perfect and beautiful in the eyes of God. Teach them this, and you will have taught them grandly. Teach your children that consequences and punishment are not the same thing, that death does not exist, and that God would never condemn anyone. Teach them this, and you will have taught them grandly. Teach your children that there are no conditions to love, that they need not worry about ever losing your love or God's, and that their own love, unconditionally shared, is the greatest gift they can give to the world. Teach them this, and you will have taught them grandly. Teach your children that being special does not mean being better, that claiming superiority over someone is not seeing them for who they really are, and that there is great healing in acknowledging mine is not a better way, mine is merely another way. Teach them this, and you will have taught them grandly. Teach your children that there is nothing they cannot do, that the illusion of ignorance can be eradicated from the earth, and that all anyone really needs is to be given back to themselves by being reminded of who they really are. Teach them this, and you will have taught them grandly. Teach these things not with your words, but with your actions, not with discussion, but with demonstration. For it is not what you do that your children will emulate, but how you are that they will become.
R.E.F.M. Thought-provoking, always smoking. Lyrics like a bazooka. You are listening to Mutabaruka.
Continent!
Yeah, good night. This is the Cutting Edge on RFM. We're there with you next Wednesday. Yeah, we're there with you. You just listen to a famous South African artist who died a couple years ago, Brenda Fassie. Really love her for true. Overdose herself. Before that, you hear one of the daughters of Lucky Dube, who is rising up as an artist in her own right. Bunji Dube. Yes, big artists all over the place now, especially in Europe. We're there with you. You know, said this is the week when South Africa celebrate 20 years of independence. We want to speak to somebody from the British High. Sorry, it's a British High Commission. The South African High Commission. I know why it's a paper, but I look at it and read about British or Britain. With all the man, them are joining up with this ISIL organization. All of them come from England. Anyway, we want to talk to somebody from the South African Commission about what is in store for Jamaica, especially Friday. You know, they're going to have a big celebration in the park, Emancipation Park, on Friday. As a matter of fact, we came down with some of the youth them who going to perform, some South African hip-hop youth going to perform. So we want to talk to them about that and what is happening over the years that them claim independence. You know them way, because it's independence name, you know, and we also declare that. But we know say no much independence. There are certain things that certain people you can't just come to grips with. But I want you to know say at 12 o'clock is the New Year. You know, this is New Year's Eve in Ethiopia, you know. Yes, a lot of people don't know that, but this is New Year's Eve in Ethiopia. Ethiopia is 7 years. Ethiopia calendar is 7 years behind the Gregorian calendar. For those of you who don't know about these things, you have the Gregorian calendar that was institutionalized by Pope Gregory. And you have the Julian calendar. Well, Ethiopia used the Julian calendar, and this is 7 years behind this calendar year. Ethiopia have 13 months. Yes, Ethiopia have 13 months. Gregorian calendar have 12 months. Well, on the 11th of September is the year, is what them call Maskaram. The first month of the year, Maskaram, in Ethiopia. And it is also the day when them kill Peter Tosh. Yes. It is also the day when them kill Peter Tosh. That is the 11th of September. And it's also the day when them fly some plane in the Twin Towers in New York and change the whole vibration of Earth and how people view the world. That incident alone created so much things that is it even happening right now. What happened on the 11th of September in New York City created a lot of things, and what is taking place now, a whole heap of the upheavals what is happening in the world right now is because of that incident, where after that America went into Iraq, and none of the guys them who them claim go into that building and destroyed did not come from Iraq, but they went there and mashed up the country. And now we see what is happening. Them break it and can't fix it. And now through them can't fix it. A whole heap of things that take place. But as we say, at 12 o'clock we want to play this documentary. You know, years ago we played a documentary named Loose Change. It is about the Twin Towers, and it's a next version of what a lot of Americans believe happened about those downing of the Twin Towers. A lot of Americans believe, say, their own government have something to do with it. Well, we want to play a follow-up version to the Loose Change that will feature, we're going to feature it at 12 o'clock And tomorrow, we want to tell you that we want to tackle this ISIL, formerly ISIS, organization that is creating havoc and creating problems for Obama. This is a new thing where them say this organization more dangerous than Al-Qaeda. When them think it is done, it just a come. And it's them create the problem. No, them can't fix it. Because years after now, some man rise up again. And evil, according to what them are say, more terrible than Osama bin Laden. This a man look more, according to them, wickeder than Osama bin Laden. As a matter of fact, him have all Americans a fight on him side. So you must know him have all oil, fields, we have function in army. Because him say him have all army too. And part of it where is interesting is that him say him descended from Muhammad. You think about the easy. So him have authority more than all of the other leaders. Him descended from Muhammad, the prophet. So tomorrow we'll talk about that. We'll interview. We might go right into the heart of Syria to go find one of them and interview them too. Because so we stay. Or we might go in Iraq to find one of them and interview them. But we want to talk about that. But for the time being, we want to tell you that Jamaica, I don't know if Jamaica will celebrate with the South African them, but I know that the South African them will be visible in Emancipation Park on Friday. Yes, Friday. That is when they will be in the Emancipation Park. So, we continue. Where were they?
thought-provoking, always smoking. Lyrics like a bazooka. You are listening to Mutabaruka.
You hear that? String it, string it.
Could be somewhere else, but we choose to be here. So here we are now. We're going to go to the South African. The Mr. I hope it's Mr. Philip Riley there by the phone. Good night. Good night. Hello.
Hi, good evening.
Good evening, sir. Good evening, sir. Is Mr. Riley this?
Yes, hi. Is this Mutabaruka?
Yes, this is Mutabaruka, man.
Hi, good to hear, man.
All right, give thanks. Okay, so you are here as a counselor?
That's correct, yes.
What are you counseling?
Where I can, we try and counsel on taking the relationship with Jamaica and all the Jamaican people to a higher level.
Okay, that's beautiful. I was just in South Africa. I came on Monday, and I saw the youth, the musicians who will perform. We and them came down on the same flight, actually. So
Yes.
All right, so tell me something now. 20 years of freedom and democracy in South Africa. What does that mean? I mean, freedom and democracy in South Africa after 20 years.
Well, I think that the first thing is that we do appreciate the support of the international community and Jamaicans in particular for helping us to achieve that freedom and democracy. Without that support, none of this would have been possible. I'm sure you would also then be aware that the development in South Africa has been distributed much more equally, and the opportunity, there are no limitations on the opportunities available to our youngsters in particular to live their lives to the fullest potential and, to pursue their dreams. Systems are in place to make that possible, and, through hard work and dedication, no opportunity is denied, unlike in the past where it would have been a case of racial profile determining whether you had any opportunity at all.
Yeah. And you are comfortable with it at this moment in time?
Absolutely. I think in any situation one could always do better. One could always improve on what has taken place. But I think generally, if you look at the statistics across the board, there has been a generally continuous upward trend over the past 20 years. Electricity has been rolled out to more and more households over the years.
Yes.
Opportunities for education across the board, primary, secondary and tertiary education have improved dramatically over the period of time. Government programs to provide meals to school-going children have been increased and expanded across all 9 provinces. So I think, yes, we've had a few setbacks and a few disappointments, but that, should not detract from all the successes that we have achieved over this period and that we continue to build on.
Well, can I tell you something now? It was about 2 to 3 years ago I was in South Africa and Johannesburg.
Yes.
I always come back and tell people, say, Johannesburg, as a matter of fact, Cape Town look like Los Angeles, Durban look like Miami, and Johannesburg look like New York. But last week, I think Johannesburg has surpassed New York now in its infrastructure. I mean, the amount of buildings and roadways and things that I've seen gone up there. It wasn't there 3-4 years ago. Oh, yes. It's so fast. I mean, it's only getting fast, man, with the development.
Yes. Well, look, the government, of course, appreciates that the economic opportunities can best be pursued with an improved infrastructure. And South Africa is hosting the 2010 World Cup, which I think was internationally recognized as the best to date. Was used as a catalyst to try and accelerate the development. Yes, and around it wasn't only around the football stadiums. It was a broad integrated network of transport systems. The road infrastructure was improved, rail infrastructure. Airport infrastructure. So across the board there's been significant development, and it's not only linked to South Africa, it's also linked to the SADC region, the Southern African Development Community, our regional community. So we're looking to build partnerships with our partners in Southern Africa as well, and beyond.
Yeah, the Johannesburg airport is like a city in itself. The only other airport that's like that is the Atlanta airport. I mean, you can stay in that airport the whole day and just shop and watch and look. Even if the plane is taking long to take off.
Well, we like to keep our guests in South Africa as long as possible. So, that airport is more than doubled in size over the past 10 years. So, I think we're doing quite well. Number of tourists have increased dramatically over the time as well. So, I think South Africa does have a good story to tell. And people continue to come to our country to enjoy that story and to take, the successes back to their own countries. And we're very happy for that and very proud of that.
Yes, and we had the opportunity to perform in the Johannesburg Theatre, which the last time I was in that theatre, Nelson Mandela was there as a guest of some South African dance troupe. But to perform in that theatre and know that here I am performing in Johannesburg Theatre, it was really something to sweet me. It was nice.
Yeah.
It was nice. Okay, so this weekend, at least Friday, you have a free concert in the park. Tell us about this concert in the park.
That's right, Mutabaruka. We are having a concert, open concert, as you say, free concert open to the public. We have a performer from South Africa, Hip Hop Ansula, HHP as he's known at home. He's one of our foremost performing artists at the moment. He's a multi-award winning performer. He's pairing up with Tony Rebel, Queen Africa, and Yabrooks. So, we'd like to think that it's a type of program that will line up, that will attract, a wide spectrum and as many possible Jamaicans as, would want to come down and enjoy the vibe with us.
No, well, the park will be full. I guarantee that the park will be full,
Excellent.
So it's nice to see the younger artists, them coming out, and it's really good that you brought the younger artists, them, to be exposed to Jamaica, because usually, I remember we had this dance troupe, which was nice, but as we know that the music has evolved, so exposing the hip-hop South African artists to the local scene is quite good. And
we're looking to build on that relationship. It's a concert, a once-off concert on this occasion, but HHP is also looking specifically on developing collaborations with Jamaican artists, and we're already getting a very good response to that, and we look forward to future collaborations. And also as yourself and many other artists, as you say, have been down to South Africa and have returned. And I'm sure building on those cultural ties and across people-to-people contacts.
Yes. I need to beg you to do something though. The next artist you bring here, you have to bring this poet's sister named Lebo. I don't know if you ever heard of her.
Yes.
Lebo. I mean, really, you have to bring her to Jamaica, man. I mean, she's something else. I did a tour with her in Zimbabwe and Malawi and South Africa, and she was on the show that I was on Friday. And trust me, she need to come to Jamaica. Tell her. Yeah, so I'm lobbying for her.
But Baruka, I'm sure you'll know yourself, being an artist in great demand, how difficult it is sometimes to secure the services and of individual artists. But we certainly will do what we can. We'd like to see this as yet another step in developing the relations.
Yeah.
There is, of course, a cultural cooperation agreement between Jamaica and South Africa.
Yeah, I know that.
Which,
for a longer time.
Also is meant to facilitate that type of contact, and we certainly would do what we can to encourage, exchanges. Young upcoming artists, established artists. It's important to keep that relationship going.
All right, what will be happening, meanwhile you are celebrating here, what will be happening in South Africa?
Well, the main program in South Africa, of course, commenced around our National Day, our Freedom Day, 27th of April. There were a range of performances in different parts of the country. It is a year-long celebration, so there, as the year progresses, there are different performances and in different parts of the country. And in this instance, with regards to the international program, Jamaica is in fact one of the few so-called flagship countries that we've identified, where we're looking to celebrate together with the local population, local government, local people, the successes that brought us freedom in South Africa, those sacrifices that people made, and to acknowledge that by having these performances in specific countries. And Jamaica is one of two countries in the Caribbean where we're doing a program of this nature, and there are only a handful of other countries where similar programs are being run. So it is an indication of the special relationship that we have with Jamaica.
Yes, well, we give thanks. I mean, South Africa is one of my favorite places. Out of all the African countries, I've been there more times than I can remember, And this free concert, we want to tell the Jamaican people, South Africa is celebrating 20 years of diplomatic relations with Jamaica and also freedom and democracy in South Africa. And this is happening at the Emancipation Park, and the time is from 6 o'clock to 9 o'clock, and it's on Friday, the 12th of September.
Yes.
I'm right?
Yes, absolutely. And we look forward to good weather and good company from all.
Give thanks, sir. Give thanks. Okay.
Always.
All right. This is beautiful. This is very beautiful. Imagine that I'm just coming from South Africa to land up in our celebration in Jamaica about South Africa. It reminds me of celebrating the close of the millennium in two different spaces. I mean, that is something for me personally as an experience, to know that you celebrated the new the ushering in of the new millennium in the West here, and I went to Ethiopia and celebrate the ushering of the new millennium in the East. Is not, I mean, that is what a sweet thing. Okay. Yes. Yeah, because 7 years, Ethiopia is 7 years behind. So when here is the year 2000, when we ushered in the year 2000, I was here celebrating the ushering of the year 2000. And when Ethiopia ushered in the year 2000, I was in Ethiopia celebrating the Ethiopian thing. And I would just take part in a arts festival that was also celebrating 20 years of South Africa freedom and democracy. And now I am back in Jamaica, and it is also being celebrated here. So we want to remind the people that this is taking place. Emancipation Park, live entertainment, also featuring Tony Rebel and Jabooks and Queen Africa. And that is from 6 o'clock to 9 o'clock, Friday, venue, Emancipation Park. This is the Cutting Edge on IRFM. remind you that in Ethiopia, this is New Year's Eve night. Yes, in Ethiopia, it's New Year Eve night. I know some people might be confused when them hear we say we celebrate bringing in the millennium, the new millennium year in Jamaica and in Ethiopia. One might have wondered, then you cannot celebrate the New Year's Eve in a two different countries physically. Well, go on to know that it's a different calendar where them are working. You understand? One I use Gregorian and one I use Julian calendar. One is 7 years lagging from the other one. Yes.
Continent with Mutabaruka. We are listening to the ornaments. In the year, continent. The end. The end.
want to yell all the brethren them who come out of the airport when we land and who from Pretoria. And all the brethren them who have that great function for we in Pretoria. They come for we in the Saturday night there and drive to go to Pretoria and they are there till early morning and sit down and a reason. Enough Rasta man there South Africa where you know that you think it's joke we make. Enough Rasta woman there South Africa. So we want to play this tune for them. Yes, I will know say a whole heap of them listen to Cutting Edge, Stepping Razor. I will feel good for know say yeah, the brethren them sit down and have reasoning about things what we say on the radio. We out in South Africa there. So we want to play this tune for Johannesburg, one of our favorite city in the world. I want to play this tune for the High Commissioner too, you know, yes. Left under her feet. I felt her touch and warm embrace. Oh, the laughter and smile she left on my face. Oh, Johannesburg, I miss you so. Come now on, man, let me hear you blow. Oh, Johannesburg. Girl, no. yours truly in South Africa. South African style. This is the Cutting Edge on RFM. So you know, so we can't play South African music and not play this bridge, you know. We played Data a while ago. So we want to give you this brethren pass away, murdered from the streets of South Africa. Plane get hijacked. I mean, not plane, car get hijacked. Right? Because like we still under the influence of the 13, 15 hour trip, you know. Hey, you know what it is? You know what it is with sit down in our plane for nearly 16 hours non-stop. And then when you reach, you sit down at the airport 10 hours. Well, that is what we just don't do. You know what it is to sit down in our airport from 6 a.m. to 4:30 p.m. and wait for the next flight? That is what we just don't do. And that is what the brethren them just don't do too. For come here and play some music for the people them. Okay, Lucky Dube. We just played that a while ago. You know, so the first time I play Lucky Dube power sound system, way down at the 80s there. People believe it was Peter Tosh, you know. Yeah, man, the man sound like Peter Tosh gone to bed. Unfortunately, Peter Tosh was murdered. And this Virginia was also murdered. Can you believe that? Now, I want to tell the people them something, you know. The other day we do reggae on the river in California there, and we have an album where it don't release in South Africa, it don't release in the West, and we have 2 tunes on it. One of them we just play Girl from Johannesburg. Well, we have a tribute to Lucky Dube because me and him develop a relationship over the years, and yeah, the brethren use reggae as a medium for send out the message out there. But when we hear say Lucky Dube dead, man, me I tell you, man, it drive me away. And the weirdest thing, you know, is for that stage me go, you know, and somebody whisper to me and say, why you ask them just murder Lucky Dube in South Africa, you know, in Johannesburg. I mean, feel it, man. Anyway, when me and my brethren David decide so we're going to do this album with a South African flavor, we write this poem here in tribute to Lucky Dube. So we want to play this song here in tribute to Lucky Dube, and we did it on Reggae on the River. And this is the weirdest part right now because tears come on my eye, man. Imagine you do a poem for a man on a stage, thousands of people in front of you, and the MC, after you done the poem, the MC who was Roger Stephens, everybody know Roger Stephens. Roger Stephens come to me in the middle of the stage and whisper in my ear, say, and you know, today is Lucky Dube birthday. Me I tell you, man, tears start coming out, man. Me I forget where the mic and come off of the stage. That was serious thing. Unknowingly, we just said the poem and finish the poem now, and I go in at some dub vibes and thing. And the man just come to me and tell me, say, you know, today is Lucky Dube birthday. Tribute to Lucky Dube. Yours truly.
Nobody can stop reggae. Reggae is strong. Spirit of hope, cast in greed and hate. Fate alone can decide who shall live or who will die. Caught in tides of hate, singing songs of joy, reggae songs of resistance. Am I a slave, prisoner or slave? The world here, the cry is heard from Jamaica to Johannesburg. I remember, I'm a prisoner. We are all prisoners of the system, of politicians and preachers, of little boys in the streets with guns. So who can say they're lucky to go beyond what is their fate? Who can go beyond and sing, shout aloud in songs and poems about freedom of a people wanting, open to be free? Lucky are we to have had lucky. The bullets echo, but the ballads echo more, reaching further than any bullet can, piercing the heart of many who seek freedom. We are lucky. Nobody can stop reggae. Reggae is strong. Spirit of hope. So we are lucky. Bullets will not stop reggae. Lucky are we to fall and rise. Lifting up the word, shouting, chanting, singing songs of freedom for those yet to be born. In this world of bullets and little boys and streets filled with hate and greed. Streets of gold and lead, blood red, thick blood, like morning mist. It stops us from seeing what lies ahead. But this music, this
listening to Mutabaruka.
Fate alone can decide who shall live or who will die. Caught in tides of hate, singing songs of joy, reggae songs of resistance. Am I a slave, prisoner or slave? The world here, the cry is heard from Jamaica to Johannesburg. I remember, I'm a prisoner. We are all prisoners of the system, of politicians and preachers, of little boys in the streets with guns. So who can say they're lucky to go beyond what is their fate? Who can go beyond and sing, shout aloud in songs and poems about freedom of a people, wanting, hoping to be free? Lucky are we to have had lucky. The bullets echo, but the ballads echo more, reaching further than any bullet can, piercing the heart of many who seek freedom. We are lucky. Nobody can stop reggae. Reggae is strong. Spirit of hope. So we are lucky. Bullets cannot, will not stop reggae. Lucky are we, fall and rise. Lifting up the world, shouting, chanting, singing songs of freedom for those yet to be born. In this world of bullets and little boys and streets filled with hate and greed. Streets of gold and lead, blood red, thick blood like morning mist. It stops us from seeing what lies ahead. But this music, this reggae music, brings a wind that blows away this misty morning, moving the shackles from these prisoners, these slaves, waiting on the right time. When these little boys with bullets of hate will listen to the sound of hope and become lucky, and no more will they be prisoners or slaves. So the chant is out. Lucky are we. Nobody can stop reggae. Reggae is strong.
You are listening to Mutabaruka.
We baba silale maweni 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 we baba silale maweni. Homeless, homeless, moonlight sleeping on the midnight lake. Homeless, homeless, moonlight sleeping on the midnight lake. And we are homeless, 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 Baba. Moonlight sleeping on the midnight lake. And we are homeless, 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 Baba. Moonlight sleeping on the midnight lake. See you, yeah.
Yeah, we're just kind of tuning into the 20-year celebration in South Africa that will continue its journey here in Jamaica, playing some music from South Africa. Yes, we give thanks. South Africa, it's weird that them call the geographical location of a country. The country name is Azania. Them don't use that word again, but it's Azania. Yes. South Africa is where the country is. But for some reason or another, the name South Africa is given to the country. But the people them say it name Azania. Mandala. Yes. So we give thanks. Yes, we give thanks that we could be and can be a part of these things. This journey into time and space. I am my ancestor. We rise up again to continue the journey. Because we wasn't supposed to be here, We wasn't supposed to be here. We're supposed to be done in the middle passage and in the shackles and chains and tortures and lynching that them put we under in these farmer slave plantation islands and in America. But we survive. We survive the bottom of the ship with all the filth and the death, the blood and the tears. We survive, and we're there now to tell the tale. I am my ancestor. We are the ones we have been waiting for. Yes, this is the cutting. Yeah, as we did I say, we shouldn't be here now, but we are here. And we see so much things are going on at the earth now for this track with sensibility from ourselves. The greatest weapon in the hands of the oppressor is the mind of the oppressed. That was said by a South African named Steve Biko, who was murdered. So we come to the realization and say that we have to understand where we are in the scheme of things today. If you don't understand that, all of us will be like puppets on a string, moving hither and thither, not knowing where we are going or where we are coming from. And we have to know where we're coming from, especially in this time, because we, the so-called sons and daughters of slaves, must recognize that we were before slavery, and we will be here even after this dilemma that we find ourselves in as now. So we can't afford to make memories, short memories, make we lose ourselves. We have to go back, way back, beyond the slavery, beyond the Middle Passage. We have to go back to retrieve what we lost coming across the Middle Passage. We have to reclaim ourselves. Yes, because right now we don't have ourselves. We don't have ourselves. Emancipate yourself from mental slavery. How much time you hear that phrase? That is a cliche now. Emancipate yourself from mental slavery. We do have ourselves, we lose it, then wash our brains and say we brainwash. We need to rise up. We need to look at the situation. We're living in a country where we have 2.7 million African people. And when you look at the minority groups, how can you have a country with 2.7 million African people? And the 2.7 million African people don't ever recognize them Africanness. And the little minorities, because they make the minorities look like it's nothing, They make the minorities look like it's enough. I wonder how much one was at the celebration where we keep in our IRFM the other day. When what's your name? Amina Meeks Blackwood come on the stage and tell you the population of Jamaica in ethnic groups is a serious thing. Now when people say this, you say people I say boy right now we're racist and with this and with that, but I like a me I know, me reach this level I know, me don't even care, you understand? But statin, which is people who go deal with them statistics there. Because we don't know about them statistics there. They have them scientific way to deal with statistics. Statin is a reputable organization that deals statistics in countries and deal with groups, ethnic groups. And according to Statin, it's only 4,116 white people in Jamaica, 5,150 Chinese people, 759 Arabs, 350 Jews, and 23,000 Indian. No. When you look on it, the African them is 2.7 million. Oh, yeah. I know me, I said this, you know. This is Statin. This is them now evaluating the ethnic population of Jamaica. You have 4,000 white people, 5,000 Chinese, which is 9,000 that, and you add the same number, call that 10,000 people they saw. Arabs 700 odd, so 10,700 odd, and 300 odd, 7,000, 10,000, 11,000, and 33,000, 11,000, that are 34,000. 34,000 of the other ethnic groups together. That means the whites, Chinese, Indians, Arabs, Jews come up to 30,000. And the African group is 2.7 million. Now do your maths and see how much percentage of the Jamaican population is African. Yet still them about out of many one people. When them talk that, you know, it make it sound like the ethnic group them enough in Jamaica. You know, it's a serious thing. And it's them control Jamaica. The little 20,000, 30,000 control the 2.7 million people. How is that possible? That come like a party. That 20,000 people decide how you eat, how you drink, how you talk, what you wear, where you go, how you have sex and all these things. 30,000 people decide that for you. Think about it. The 2.7 million African people in Jamaica, 30,000 people decide what you wear, what you drink, what you eat, what you say, what you believe in, how you believe in it, your democratic government, how you propel your government, what your government should do, even though you vote, you know. Yeah. Are you vote? Because them depend upon the majority of African people to vote for African government. But guess what? The people them who pull the string, the private sector organizations, the people them who is running the game is only 30,000 people. So if you put 30,000 people with 2.7 million, that is 2.7 million and 30,000, 2.7 million. Well, it mind-boggling, Rasta. It mind-boggling. It mind-boggling. 30,000 people, that is not even, I don't even know, I don't even want to say the wrong mathematical thing. That don't even sound like 1% of the blouse and skirt population. I got customer on the radio, I mean, let's stop the program. But That is not evil. What? That is that. To me, I want every data listen me can tell me the maths. 30,000, 2.7 million people. How much percentage of the population that? Eh? Think on it. Really think on it. Really think on it. If the African population in Jamaica is 2.7 million people, and all of the other ethnic groups is only 30,000, how the hell we are talking about out of many one? What is it that is out of many one? Can you imagine you go all of China, and because some little black people each up in a desert, and some little Indian people each up over there, so you hear them say out of many one? It's a Chinese country. What are you talking about? This is an African country. And when we say country, now we are talking about in relationship to the population. When you look at all the money, you ever look at all the $500 bill? You look at the $500 bill, you try to figure out, what? Everybody is like match, like it even Steven. Yes, it even Steven. Hey, African people, we should have proud, you know. We should have proud ourselves, Rasta. So all we are going like so we don't understand, say. Somebody trick you somewhere. Eternal Father, bless our land, guide us with thy mighty hand. Somebody trick you somewhere. Out of many, one people. One people are till the soil, and one people are collect the kyle. One people in the sun and rain, and one people are feel the pain. But guess what? The more we are together, the happier we shall be. Because my friend is your friend, and my friend have no money to spend. But them say out of many, one people. One people in the sun and rain. One people are cut sugar cane. Oh, that is possible. Oh, that is possible. In a country where you have only 5,000 Chinese, 10 years from now, that going to triple, fubble. Now them say 5,000. But wait a little more. The black majority will have to learn Chinese language to sustain themselves and how to really communicate. We have to go dash with the patois business, the Jamaican language, you know. You all a man talk about. We're going to get colonized in the next way now. 759 Arabs live in Jamaica. When you look at certain merchandising that is taking place in Jamaica, and the Jews and the Arabs control that, and you only have 1,000 odd, according to Statin. Don't take my word for it, because it's not me I say it. Me just give you the information. According to Statin, there's only, between the Arabs and Jews, it come up to 1,109. And they're so specific. They're so specific to it. I don't know how them people they get them information, you get them the result, China, but the Arabs and the Jews make up 1,000 odd people. That means if you keep a stage show in a which part if you keep the show though? If you keep some fest and you invite all the ethnic groups except the African groups in Jamaica, and if all of them come to your show, really and truly, like for instance, in a jam world, make us say jam world, Sting, you go on, if everybody, which undoubtedly not everyone will come on the show, but we could say, according to all this thing I go now, if everybody of the ethnic group except the Africans come to the show, you're going to have 30,000 people in the show. If you keep a show and everybody except the other ethnic group, but the Africans them come, which undoubtedly all the Africans them not going to come. You can't have no space for all them 2.7 million people. There's no show in Jamaica that can hold so much people. Yet still we know the stadium hold 30,000 people. So you can put all the other ethnic group in stadium. If all of them come and it pack. You can't even put quarter of the other ethnic group, which is the majority ethnic group, in stadium. Because now go all. Because Kingston Durable have 700,000 people. Well, I tell you, them things are bite boggling in the Rasta. When we look at them things, I wonder how black people so fool, you know. It doesn't answer what we had. How black people so fool, eh? How them little things I just run past with one, we don't take it lightly. That black people run the government. Black people vote in the government. But when you look at the poorest set of people them in Jamaica, it's the majority. And when I say, it obviously have to be the black people them, because black people have the most populated areas in Jamaica where you have sufferation. Obviously, it must be the majority in the country. But guess what? You know, so the Chinese police are walk the street with the next Chinese police. You know, so Chinese are cut no sugar cane. You know, so no Chinese pan dump truck. You know, so no Arab pan dump truck. You know, so no white people pan dump truck. I take up rubbish. But a whole heap of the rubbish come from them yard. You have Chinese burial ground where only Chinese can bury there. I'm scared, why? Black people only in a problem. May I tell you that? We are going like so we are idiot. As a matter of fact, it come like we are idiot. If we can make this thing a continuously, so we will say we are African. I know me say African, you know. I know me say Indian, I know me say Jew, I know me say Arab, I know me say China, I know me say white, you know. It's starting in a them observation and them analysis of scientifically deal with it. So, starting is aware that you have different ethnic groups in Jamaica, and one of the ethnic groups is Africans. Who is the Africans they matter about? The Africans is the majority of Jamaican people who don't want to say them as African. Starting said Chinese. The African people identify the Chinese. The African people identify the Indian. The African people identify the Jews. The African people identify the Arab. The African people don't identify themselves. It's madness. It's crazy. Because if starting to say, them evaluate the amount of people in the different ethnic groups. And when them come down to the majority of people, them never say, no other thing, them say the African people, it's 2.7 million people in Jamaica. The Africans. The same people, them who never go to Africa yet, is referred to as Africans by starting. The same people them who afraid to say them are African is referred to as Africans in a Jamaica by this organization that is going through the ethnic groups in Jamaica. And if you ask a Jamaican about the other ethnic groups, him can identify a Chinese, him can identify Arab, him can identify Jew, him can identify Indian, him can identify white people. Him can identify himself. They don't see how crazy it is. You don't see how crazy it is. Because when they reach the majority group, you know, they never say Jamaican, you know, them say African group. It's 2.7 million. Even that alone should have make you realize, but something wrong here, so. Because if all other people them related to a country, Chinese, Arab, Jews, Indian, how come me, when it reach African, me say me are not African, me are Jamaican. You know, to the madness in it. You know, to the craziness in it. That you could have talked about, say, well, I never go Africa yet, you know, nobody call me African. Starting say on is African. 2.7 million African in Jamaica. And that enough to realize. It never said 2.7 million Jamaican. Because if you add up the whole of them now, then they become Jamaican. But guess what? The minority group run the life of the African people them in Jamaica. And Jamaican people are going like them an idiot. And when we talk about Jamaican people, now we talk about the whole of the group them. The whole of the group them. Because one, I try control the next one. You ever hear about sit down on the wall and watch me? That is exactly where I go on in Jamaica. You sit down on the wall and watch me. Everybody I watch, who for watch, I get paranoid. Rich people feel say poor people where them have, and poor people feel say everything where rich people have is poor people, them thief it from. I saw it go. It's a schizophrenic, almost paranoia that is taking place in Jamaica. And that's the most pity places too, but we are talking about Jamaica itself. We are talking about Jamaica itself because how can a country where give the world Marcus Garvey? How can a country where give the world Rastafari? How can a country where give the world reggae music? How can a country where have the majority of people as African people? The majority of them say them are not African. That not have nothing to do with them. Them never got Africa yet. Or we get to that stage. Can somebody please tell me? Or we get to that stage that we can really say, me are not African. Me never got Africa yet. Yet still, a group of people can tell you and say, only is the majority, the African. If only is not African, who is part, what part of this statistics only grew up in? If you say only is not African, and who is Jamaican, I'm not talking about the black people them in Jamaica now. Them have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 groups. 6 groups them have. Whites, Chinese, Arabs, Jews, Indian, African. Where you lie? Tell me which part of that you there? Which part you put yourself in now? Because you must come in one of them group there. You must come in one of them group there. It's either you're white, you're Chinese, you're Arab, you're Jew, you're Indian, or you're African in the Jamaican context. So which part you there in that? That's the question you must ask yourself. When they take the statistics and they talk about the ethnic groups, which one of the ethnic groups you find yourself in? The greatest weapon in the hands of the oppressor is the mind of the oppressed. This weekend, Friday, Emancipation Park, South Africa, them celebrate them freedom and democracy. Hip-hop artists, young hip-hop artists, this is one of the biggest tunes right now in South Africa. Believe you me. Even though I'm not understand what I say, but I'm supposed to love them hip-hop tune, yeah.
Just turned 25.
Zimdlele commission, izinja zami zimdlele commission inomayini afikara vele polish wasiqale clever no mission uyasishaya indlela love afim singamapantso light afula ihlala vele ngcolisiwe phila kayi one sound kwana vele ngono landingane phela love azio no fuck it get sick one day and we gonna see where we at where we gonna chill kubula ziyasha Your driver, yeah, you know the deal. Tonight is a boom like Sasa. mangabuya phakama uzithola usesimongolo thina sileze ihamba negoni yepocketini shiya umuntu wakho yedwa lovuse problemini sorry I'm going in pholuza mthole ekuseni one rata kuyakuthatha hakiyetha so asekele shapa bebanyana I'm fintako hey mina uchaba ngaqala ngingala ngaze ngabheka manje mina uchaba ngaqala ngingala ngaze ngabheka manje domeni ziphalabana phakathi kwekaraka domeni ziphalabana phakathi kwekaraka kumekoli Cairo para to Dubai niggas just ngaqala eBurubai convoy I'm a bus driving to July yabo Jujubai 100 sandwiches of mine yafika ngibambeng bar shale sespopping bar Sami's popping flies dropping lost if you change down no touch kali get bar vuke kuseni ngijaba nabo njunje gas stagi essence kana wazobuze pass body way mali gets you learn to trust. I guess you singing off the pants. Now I was sissy know the dilly. I jiggy the city belongs to.
Yes, Cutting Edge. You know, we're going to play the last South African music and then flip the script, yes? As we are telling you, say, at 12 o'clock, ushering the new year in Ethiopia. And it also is the day when them kill Peter Tosh. And it is also the day when two planes ram up in the Twin Towers in New York that really changed the world. Yes, and how we look at the world. So, one of the most famous South African music, we're going to play it right now. It's by the man called Hugh Masekela, and it is called Grazing in the Grass. The most famous South African songs out of South Africa, the man called Hugh Masekela, Grazing in the Grass. Sweet music, man, sweet music. So, we want to play a tune here for all the sister them who are listening to the Cutting Edge at this moment in time. Yeah, we're going to go half the key now, half the beat now, just to really play this song, yeah? We want to really livicate this song, as we say. To sisters them who are listening to it for years now, and who still are listening to it. And for the sisters them who just join way all over the world. I tell you. You have some sisters in France, them man, in Paris, them not left the cutting edge an inch. You understand? Believe you me. So, as we are saying, half the world music, but it mean a lot to me, and it mean a lot to me for play it for the sisters them. So, listen.
Is the velvet of the midnight sky. Black is so beautiful, it makes you cry. Black is oil. Black is coal. Black is soil. Black is soul. Black is you and me. Black is beautiful. Don't you see? Black is an onyx that is gleaming bright. Black is a panther in the jungle night. Black is feeling something deep. Makes you laugh or makes you weep. Black is mystery. Black is beautiful. Don't you see? Black. Black is the sorrow of a morning bed. Black is a dream about a promised land. Little baby, baby, don't you cry, 'cause you'll be free before you die. Don't you see?
Yeah, me I tell you, soulful, black is beautiful. As we are say, we are dedicate them to all sisters who listen to me. And we are dedicate them to all the newfound friend them we will find. Don't have forever young every Sunday. These sisters in the garrison, in the ghetto areas, them who come to me and say, Muta, we not stop listening to you, you know. Yeah, man, we want to dedicate that song to all those sisters. Nancy Wilson said, black is beautiful. This is the cutting edge. And I FM. And as we have said, the journey continue. You know, say, we tell you about the New Year's. We're going to bring in the New Year in Ethiopia with a New Year Ethiopian song that every New Year now, this is the theme for Ethiopia. When you have New Year's, then play this New Year song, but we want to wait till it is exactly 12 o'clock. We want to wait till it's exactly 12 o'clock, you know. We want to do it like how them do it. In a million people style, yeah, so. Okay, so we could find a New Year's song, yeah. Hey, don't bother joke out this thing, you know. You make 12 o'clock come and we don't find the tune, you know. Alright, you think so computer easy? We find the tune, the New Year's tune, Ethiopian New Year's song. So we're going to do a countdown. All the people them who listen to it must know, say, this is Ethiopian New Year, and at 12 o'clock, it usher in a new year in Ethiopia. To the hour, the 11th or the 12th. How it go?
10.
Oh, tomorrow the 11th. Yes, sorry. All right. The 11th of September is the new year in Ethiopia. So we want to start the countdown in a few. And Brian, I'm going to do the countdown for me, you know, because I now watch the clock, you know. Watch the clock. Brian, I'm going to do the countdown for me. That's me can start the tune and tell everybody in Ethiopia and all the Ethiopian them, Happy New Year. You understand? That's how we are doing it. We don't care what nobody else want to do, even though it might look strange to a whole heap of people. But we know that it is not strange. What is strange to we is when people are celebrate Halloween. That is strange to me. You understand? When we see black people are celebrate Halloween, that is strange to me. And when we see black people call themselves Roman Catholic, that is strange to me. Because Catholic means universal. Roman Catholic means he's a universal Roman under the auspices of the Pope of Rome. So that is strange to me. It is strange to me, universal Roman under the auspices of the Pope of Rome. So that is strange to me. It is strange to me that black people every 25 of December, them celebrate a thing named Christmas. For a man who never born on that day, but them was told that it is his birthday, and the people who tell them that it is his birthday, know so nobody never born on the 25th of December named Jesus Christ, but them have black people celebrate that. That is strange to me. It is strange to me because them know say it's not the 25th of December the man born, and them know say them halfway in a serious capitalist situation where if them tell you that continuously, you will want to prepare for it and spend half your little money, and when January come in and no money, that is strange to me. That is strange to me. So, when we say Ethiopia celebrate New Year's on the 11th of September, we know say that is not strange to me because we understand the dynamics of finding our logics. And it is 12 o'clock. And we're going to play this tune before we play the anthem of Jamaica. You could have deal. We are playing this tune for. It's a Happy New Year in Ethiopia. Here goes. This song is called Happy New Year by Teddy Afro.
በኢትዮጵያ ትንሣኤ ዘመን ሁለቱ ስትሰሙ መለከት ወደ ምስራቅ ተመልከቱ
That it is the new year in Ethiopia at this moment in time. Maskaram. Yeah, man, it's sweet. We want to do these things, you know. Yes. Yeah, man, it's sweet. We can't do these things up on radio, man. Make thousands of people hear it. Yeah, man, it's sweet, me. You think it's not sweet, me? Broke all rules and regulations. You think it's not sweet, me? Yes, we do it. Fire me.
I'm Sly Dunbar.
I'm my name Robert Shakespeare.
Stay tuned to RFM Mutabaruka.
Right now, this is the cutting edge scene. It's a Muta. The man rough. It was tough. Cutting head, sharp.
Yeah, so as we say, this is the cutting edge. This is the next day. You know, little more going there with the stepping razor. The art of war from 2 to 5:45. So I want to tell you about this documentary where we play years ago named Loose Change. But them have a follow-up to the documentary where we want to play. You understand? Considering this is the day that them fly plane in the Twin Towers them and change how we view the world. Whole heap of things change. Even the art of flying is no longer fun anymore. First time we used to look forward to go fly, but now it come like pressure. You understand? The paranoia in America is unbelievable, man. So here it comes.
We need order. We can't stay in this new world slow.
On September 11th, 2006, thousands from all over the world gathered in New York City, New York. They wore black shirts, reading Investigate 9/11, and held banners that read, "Ask questions, demand answers." This day marked the 5th anniversary of the terrorist attacks of September 11th, 2001. Although the 9/11 Commission report had been published over 2 years prior, many Americans and citizens worldwide remained convinced that the truth was being withheld from the public. Why? Why was a growing percentage of the world population becoming increasingly skeptical of the events of September 11th? Was it a natural inclination towards believing the worst about the United States government? Or was it a legitimate concern that only grew more powerful with time? The 9/11 Truth Movement includes academics, engineers, physicists, firefighters, intelligence officials, and some of the very people whose lives have been shattered since September 11th. Were they all delirious?
You should not be here. No, you got it all done. We're honoring the fallen heroes of 9/11.
That's on me.
No, you're not. No, you are not.
I feel so uncomfortable. I'm sorry. Next year, I'm not coming here.
Or were they a concerned group of individuals taking the necessary steps to prevent the United States from slipping into its darkest era yet? Was September 11th a surprise attack on America by 19 Islamic terrorists? Or something else entirely?
George Bush has spent an uncomfortable day with his people trying to explain away why he failed to pass on warnings the White House had received before September the 11th that terrorists were planning to hijack American aircraft. What happened that day has cast a shadow over just about every area of American life. Now, one of the country's best-known journalists has said that the American response to the so-called war on terrorism has created a climate of effective censorship in a land claiming to be the home of free speech.
American war, small or large, in which access has been so limited as this one. The belief runs so strong in both the political and military leadership that those who control the images will control public opinion.
Does it suggest that there was somebody on the inside? He kind of compared it to the Godfather story, you know, where the gun was placed in the men's room.
There is also a possibility this could be some kind of inside job.
May it have been an inside job? Might these people have gotten help from the inside?
I was speculating about that along with others early this morning, but now there's a lot more evidence that suggests it's almost certainly the case.
It's an obscene comparison. I'm not sure like it, but there was a time in South Africa that people would put flaming tires around people's necks if they dissented. The fear is that you'll be necklaced here. You'll have a flaming tire of lack of patriotism put around your neck. Now, it's that fear that keeps journalists from asking the toughest of the tough questions and to continue to bore in on the tough questions so often.
People let us stay out of our business.
A country that hides something is a country that is afraid of getting caught.
And in particular, this Bush administration, who is as tight with Saudi Arabia as you can get.
I know the right question, but you know what? This is not exactly the right time to ask it.
The president's father used to stay with the bin Laden family when he would go to Saudi Arabia.
It starts with a feeling of patriotism within oneself.
In the past, though, the FBI has sometimes made problems worse by ignoring or denying them.
FBI management intentionally and repeatedly thwarted and obstructed my attempts to launch a more comprehensive investigation to identify and to neutralize terrorists.
They realize what an entertainment-oriented society ours has become.
To the families and victims of September 11th, on behalf of John Vincent, Barry Carmody, and myself, we're sorry.
And, I want to say quietly, but as forcefully as I can, that I hope this doesn't go any further. It's gone too far already. I am appalled by it.
September 13th, the United States government declares that it has overwhelming evidence that bin Laden is responsible for the attacks. The Taliban offers to hand over Osama bin Laden if the United States can provide evidence.
Our position in this regard is that if America have evidence and proofs, they should produce it, and we are ready for the trial of Osama bin Laden in the light of evidence.
Are you willing to hand Osama bin Laden to the United States or not?
No. Without evidence, no.
September 23rd, 2001.
States. The Secretary of State said the administration would soon be able to document its case in public against the Al-Qaeda network and Osama bin Laden.
And I think it'll be persuasive.
By the next day, the White House was already backpedaling.
But is there any plan to present public evidence so that, the average citizen, not just Americans, but people all over the world, can understand the case against
Well, I think as Secretary Powell said, there's hope to do that and to do so in a timely fashion over some course of time. But I think the American people also understand that there are going to be times when that information cannot immediately be forthcoming, and the American people seem to be accepting of that.
It seems as though you're asking everyone to trust you.
This information has yet to be provided to the public. Instead of taking credit, bin Laden denies involvement in the attacks 3 times. December 13th, the Department of Defense releases a videotape allegedly discovered in a house in Jalalabad, Afghanistan. Osama bin Laden describes the attacks along with Khaled al-Harbi. American mainstream media and even President Bush would portray this videotape as absolute proof of his guilt. International establishments question the authenticity of the tape. December 26th, 2001. A Taliban official claims that he has attended the funeral of Osama bin Laden. The next day, a video believed to be recorded on November 19th is broadcast, in which bin Laden praises the attack, but takes no responsibility. The next bin Laden video would not appear until October 29th, 2004, days before the presidential election. The video is described as the clearest claim of responsibility for 9/11. And when questioned why bin Laden's most wanted poster does not indict him for 9/11, the chief of investigative publicity for the FBI, Rex Toome, replied,
9/11 is not mentioned on bin Laden's most wanted poster because the FBI has no hard evidence connecting Osama bin Laden to 9/11. Clearly, I couldn't really believe what I had just heard, so I repeated it, and he said, yes, that is correct. The FBI has no hard evidence connecting Osama bin Laden to 9/11.
What evidence do they have? 2 bags belonging to Muhammad Atta checked in at Portland Airport but failed to make Flight 11 at Boston, containing a 757 video tour and flight manual, an Arab-English dictionary, a handheld flight computer, a Quran, and his will. Why would Atta take his will onto a plane that would be destroyed in a fiery inferno? Marwan al-Sheikh's rental car, discovered at Logan Airport, containing an Arabic flight manual, an airport restricted area pass, and documents from Huffman Aviation. Nawaf al-Hazmi's rental car, discovered at Dulles Airport, containing Muhammad Atta's instructions, a check for a flight school in Phoenix, 4 drawings of a 757 cockpit, a knife, and maps of Washington and New York. Saddam al-Sakami's passport, discovered below the Twin Towers.
Well, Dan, not far from here, a passerby found the passport of one of the hijackers.
How does a passport fly out of a man's pocket through a 400-mile-per-hour airplane crash, survive 9,000 gallons of jet fuel, and land intact on a sidewalk 1,000 feet below? Mahed Maked and Nawaf al-Hazmi's ID cards discovered in the wreckage at the Pentagon. An ID, Saeed al-Ghamdi's passport, Ahmed al-Nami's driver's license, passport photos, and a business card found in Shanksville. The list goes on. A former high-level intelligence official commented to New Yorker magazine, "Whatever trail was left deliberately for the FBI to chase."
The They used hundreds of different payphones and cell phones, often with prepaid calling cards that are extremely difficult to trace. And they made sure that all the money sent to them to fund their attacks was wired in small amounts to avoid detection.
Small amounts? Lieutenant General Mahmoud Ahmed, the director of the Pakistani Inter-Services Intelligence Agency, the ISI, was reported to have wired $100,000 to Muhammad Atta in August 2001. This transfer was facilitated by Saeed Sheikh, the man who allegedly kidnapped and murdered Wall Street Journal reporter Daniel Pearl, who is investigating the ties between the ISI and Islamic militants.
And the Pakistanis, of course, if you know your history, have only been a couple of degrees of separation away from the so-called Al-Qaeda hijackers.
The ISI has had a long-standing relationship with the Central Intelligence Agency, dating back to the 1980s with the establishment of the Mujahideen in Afghanistan, which would evolve into Al-Qaeda.
I focus in on the wire transfer that General Mahmoud Ahmed wired to Muhammad Atta right before 9/11. That's pretty crucial because General Mahmoud Ahmed was actually meeting with key Washington, D.C. insiders, Senator Bob Graham, Porter Goss, the future director of CIA, on the morning of 9/11. And he has a relationship not only with the CIA, but with Dick Armitage at State Department, Mark Grossman at State Department.
Are you aware of the report at the time that ISI chief was in Washington on September 11 and on September 10, $100,000 was wired from Pakistan to these groups here in this area? And why he was here? Was meeting with you or anybody in the administration?
I have not seen that report, and he was certainly not meeting with me. Yes?
In the White House transcript of this exchange, which is delivered to the press, the information about the ISI is censored. Bob Graham and Porter Goss will later co-head a joint inquiry which publicly claims that the Bush administration received absolutely no intelligence that could have prevented the attacks. The meeting begins at 8 a.m. over breakfast at the Capitol building and lasts through Flight 175's impact with the South Tower. During his visit, which began on September 4th, Ahmed would also meet with the present CIA director, George Tenet. A month later, after reports of the transfer between himself and Atta, Mahmoud Ahmed retires from the ISI. The 9/11 Commission report will later conclude that they saw no evidence that any foreign government or foreign government official supplied any funding. The Commission decided not only to omit the information, but to deny it entirely.
On page 172 of your report, the 911 report, you say, quote, the U.S. government has not been able to determine the origin of the money used in the 911 attacks. Ultimately, the question is of little practical significance, end quote. How can you say that the question of who bankrolled the deaths of 3,000 American people on September 11th is, quote, of little practical significance?
Because it costs so little money. That's the awful thing. It costs less than $500,000, which I saw on the trace. We were able to find pieces of the $500,000, but came in very small pieces.
And you said earlier $500,000 to do the 9/11 operation. We know that $100,000 was wired to Muhammad Atta directly from the head of Pakistani ISI.
Well, I'm not aware of $100,000, but Pakistan, I think, is the most dangerous country in the world.
Why was there such a vested interest in covering up the transaction between the ISI and Muhammad Atta?
And let's talk about that wire transfer, because Governor Kane had no basis for denial, because the FBI and the Wall Street Journal confirmed the General Mahmoud Ahmed wire transfer I'm talking about. But the 9/11 Commission deliberately said that funding is not important, and assigning blame is not important to them, but it is to us.
As if their funding was not suspicious enough, a number of hijackers reportedly trained at U.S. military bases.
As hard as this is to believe that two of the alleged terrorists involved in what happened on Tuesday may have attended schools run by the U.S. military. Now, this is according to a senior defense official.
Ahmed Al-Nami, Ahmed Al-Ghamdi, and Saeed Al-Ghamdi listed their address on both driver's licenses and car registrations as the Naval Air Station in Pensacola, Florida. Muhammad Atta reportedly graduated from the U.S. International Office School at Maxwell Air Force Base in Alabama. In response to a Freedom of Information Act, Captain Jason Taylor confirmed that a Muhammad Atta trained there between 1998 and 1999, but did not verify if it was the same person. Abdulaziz Alamari attended Brooks Air Force Base in San Antonio, Texas. Saeed Al-Ghamdi and others attended the Defense Language Institute in Monterey, California, as confirmed by Lieutenant Colonel Steve Butler, Vice Chancellor for Student Affairs. American media ceases investigation when the Air Force says, "We are probably not talking about the same people." Two of the hijackers, Nawaf Al-Hazmi and Khalid Al-Madar, rented an apartment from and lived with an FBI informant. Curiously, a number of them were reported to still be alive after the attack. Finally, we were led to believe that the alleged hijackers were fundamentalist Muslims spending their final days preparing for paradise. Yet, in the week before the attacks, a number of them would drink, visit strip clubs, and solicit prostitutes.
By all accounts, Atta and his cousin kept to themselves, except for last Thursday at this bar in Hollywood, Florida. It's believed both men came in, drank heavily, and then refused to pay the bill.
And the guy got very, very offended, and he said to me, "Oh, I can pay my bill. I'm an airline pilot." And I was like, okay.
Mahed Maked is spotted several times at a porn shop. Hamza Al-Ghamdi ordered a porno in his hotel on September 10th. The mayor of Paterson, New Jersey, states that they are spotted more at go-go clubs than at mosques. Regardless of their actions, some of the hijackers' presence was known as early as 2000.
What did we know? When did we know it?
That's what some congressmen are asking now, and asking quite loudly.
Did we know the year before 9/11 that one of the hijackers was a terrorist threat?
Army Lieutenant Colonel Anthony Schaefer has gone public with his charge that Able Danger, a military intelligence project he worked with in 2000, identified Muhammad Atta, even pulled up his picture along with 3 other 9/11 hijackers as possible Al-Qaeda members.
We found the identities of 4 of the 9/11 hijackers prior to 9/11.
But he says beginning in September 2000, 3 meetings he set up with the FBI were each canceled by military lawyers. Schaefer also says he remembers telling then 9/11 Commission staff at a meeting in Afghanistan about Atta and what the intelligence unit found back in 2000. And he was surprised that it did not show up in the Commission's report.
I'm told confidently by the person who did move the material over that the 9/11 Commission received 2 briefcase-size containers of documents. I can tell you for a fact that would not be 1/20th of the information that Able Danger consisted of during the time we spent.
A 9/11 Commission spokesman said nothing they got from the Pentagon in early 2004 backed up Schaefer's claim, quote, "None of the documents turned over to the Commission mentioned Muhammad Atta or any of the other future hijackers."
Where is it? Where's the beef? Where's the substance? Where is this mysterious chart that purportedly says that Atta was connected in some real way to these other hijackers? We'd love to see it.
The company responsible for the chart, Orion Scientific Systems, would claim that only 2 charts were produced and that Atta was not present on either one.
Throw them all out, John. These are all the charts. Spread them out. These are all Orion-produced charts. These charts were all done by the data mining efforts. So the Orion Corporation lied to the Senate Judiciary Committee staff. All data mining efforts. And yet the company said to the Senate Judiciary staff, "We don't have any of those charts. They're not ours." Well, here they are. And their logos are on each one of them.
Well, Mr. Chairman, at least 2 of the 5 people that were going to appear today were threatened with removal of their security clearances if they continue to talk about this. This is going
Are you at liberty to identify who those 2 are?
I will to you. I'd rather do it privately since the Defense Department has chosen not to allow anyone to testify, but I will provide that information to the committee.
For the life of me, I don't understand why, as I understand it, I stand corrected if I'm wrong, but I understand the witnesses we assumed we were going to get to hear from the Defense Department have been pulled. They may be or may not be in the room, but have been instructed that they cannot testify. I think that's a big mistake.
This is actually a chart of Al-Qaeda and the various cells around the world. Much of this data, most of it was obtained prior to 9/11 by the work of Abel Danger. As you see, there is an actual photograph of Muhammad Atta.
What does that depict generally?
It depicts the organizational and activity associations of al-Qaeda operatives that were involved in 9/11 and related events.
And at the time, if the commission had looked into this in early 2004, the charts that had Muhammad Atta on it still existed. There was a chart in Mr. Smith's office. There was the chart that still should have been in the Defense Intelligence Agency because it wasn't destroyed within Lieutenant Colonel Schaefer's files until the spring of 2004. The same with the chart that Mr. Smith had.
Our support to Able Danger became severely restricted and ultimately shut down due to intelligence oversight concerns. I was supported vigorously by both the LEWA and the INSCOM chain of commands, and we actively worked to overcome this shutdown for the next several months. In the midst of this shutdown, I, along with one of my analysts, Chief Warrant Officer 3 Terry Stevens, were forced to destroy all data, charts, and other analytical products that we had not already passed on to SOCOM related to Able Danger.
Another former DOD official will testify today that he was ordered to destroy up to 2.5 terabytes of data. Now, I don't know what a terabyte of data is, so we contacted the Library of Congress. It's equal to 1/4 of all the entire written collection that the Library of Congress maintains.
Are you in a position to evaluate the credibility of Captain Philpott, Colonel Schaefer, Mr. Westfall, Mr. Preissler, Mr. J.D. Smith as to their credibility when they say they saw Muhammad Atta on a chart?
Yes, sir. I believe them implicitly.
Lieutenant Colonel Tony Schaefer, who was the first member of Able Danger to go public, has now been told in writing by the Defense Intelligence Agency that he can't speak to members of Congress or their staff without prior approval. And now a security clearance, which allowed him to deal with classified information, has been pulled. The congressman says Schaefer has been gagged, punished for speaking up.
The official response to Able Danger began in September 2005 with a letter from 9/11 Commissioner Slade Gordon to Senator Arlen Specter. Gordon concludes by saying that since Condoleezza Rice, President Bush, and the White House denied that Able Danger identified the 9/11 hijackers, it never happened. A 6-month investigation by the Senate Intelligence Committee concluded in December 2006 that Able Danger did not identify Muhammad Atta or any other 9/11 hijacker.
Forward. Yes. Cutting edge. Why, it's them journalists, you know. That's what you call investigative journalism, you know. For really go down so deep to find out all of them things that we are here. Believe you me. Very, very interesting, I must say.
Can we be certain that the hijackers were radical Muslims on a suicide mission? Or is there a possibility that they were trained, funded, and protected in our own country?
Yes, ma'am, Sergeant Laura. Yes. I'm just letting you know for information we're having exercise, SF exercise. We're having a calm out. Okay. Guys. Happy, thanks. All right, thank you. Back.
Between September 2000 and June 2001, the Federal Aviation Administration, FAA, would scramble fighter jets to intercept errant aircraft 67 times. Interceptions are routine and usually occur within 10 minutes of a sign of trouble, such as permanently losing radio contact and transponder signal or flying off course. On the morning of September 11th, according to official accounts, 4 commercial airliners would be off course and out of communication, and not one of them would be intercepted.
How is it that on 4 separate occasions on one day that $1 trillion military and intelligence infrastructure could fail?
Never did in anybody's thought process about how to protect America did we ever think that the evildoers would fly not 1, but 4 commercial aircraft into precious U.S. targets. Never.
I don't think anybody could have predicted that these people would take an airplane and slam it into the World Trade Center, take another one and slam it into the Pentagon.
Nobody in our government, at least, and I don't think the prior government that could envision flying airplanes into buildings on such a massive scale.
That turns out not to be true. U.S. military planners did envision and practice those very scenarios. As reported by USA Today, the North American Aerospace Defense Command, NORAD, conducted exercises with fighter jets, simulating hijacked planes flown into the World Trade Center in the 2 years before the attacks. Pentagon planners also envisioned the attack on the Pentagon 5 months before it happened. According to this April 2001 Pentagon email, Air Force officials wanted a war game, having a terrorist group hijack a commercial airline and fly it into the Pentagon. The idea was to check response times to launch fighter jets. But according to the Pentagon email, the plan was ultimately rejected by senior Pentagon officials as too unrealistic. Still to come are big questions about NORAD's response on the day of the attack. Why, despite all the exercises and the planning, Peter, jet fighters were not in place anywhere near New York or Washington.
Quite an amazing story. Many thanks, Brian. Brian Ross.
One drill, called Amalgam Virgo, was conducted on June 1st and 2nd, 2001, and simulated successful terrorist attacks. Its purpose was to focus on unconventional threats, including an airborne hijacking. One plan was simulate the hijacking of a commercial airliner, which would be crashed into the Capitol. The second part of the exercise, which was planned but not executed before 9/11, involved 2 planes with actual pilots on the flight deck. FBI agents would hijack the planes and divert them to secure locations. And on its cover, Osama bin Laden. In fact, multiple war games were underway on 9/11 itself.
The question was, we had 4 war games going on September 11th, and the question that I tried to pose before the secretary had to go to lunch was whether or not the activities of the 4 war games going on September 11th actually impaired our ability to respond to the attacks.
The answer to the question is no, did not impair our response. In fact, Jim Eberhard, who was then the commander of North American Aerospace Defense Command, as he testified in front of the 9/11 Commission, I believe he told them that it enhanced our ability to respond. There were 2 CPXs. There was one Department of Justice exercise that didn't have anything to do with the other 3, and there was an actual operation ongoing because there was some Russian bomber activity up near Alaska.
So, did the war games ultimately help or hinder our response? September 11th was day 2 of Vigilant Guardian, an exercise staged by the Joint Chiefs and NORAD, which simulated hijacked planes in the northeastern United States. Vigilant Guardian is a branch of Global Guardian, a mass Armageddon exercise being conducted at Offutt Air Force Base in cooperation with NORAD. Originally scheduled to take place in late October, Global Guardian was moved to September. The exercise is reportedly canceled after the second Twin Tower is hit. 3 E-4B Doomsday planes remain airborne.
2 government sources familiar with the incident tell CNN it was a military aircraft, but say the details are classified. This comparison of the CNN video and an official Air Force photo suggests the mystery plane is among the military's most sensitive aircraft, an Air Force E-4B. The E-4B is a state-of-the-art flying command post, built and equipped for one reason, to keep the government running no matter what, even in the event of a nuclear war. Ask the Pentagon, and it insists this is not a military aircraft, and there is no mention of it in the official report of the 9/11 Commission. The Pentagon, the Secret Service, and the FAA all say they, at least for public consumption, have no explanation of the giant plane over the president's house, just as the smoke began to rise across the river at the Pentagon.
Barksdale Air Force Base also participated in Global Guardian. Instead of returning directly to Washington, D.C., President Bush would fly to both Barksdale and Offutt Air Force Base before returning to the White House. Another drill, Northern Vigilance, moved fighter jets to Canada and Alaska to monitor a fleet of Russian MiGs on a training mission. Northern Vigilance also placed inputs onto military radar screens, also referred to as phantoms. Inputs are simulated errant aircraft, which appear real to those participating in the exercise.
We fought many phantoms that day.
3 F-16s from Andrews Air Force Base, located 15 miles from the Pentagon, are flown 180 nautical miles away for a training mission in North Carolina. Fort Belvoir, an Army base 10 miles south of the Pentagon, is preparing for an exercise intended to test security in case of a terrorist attack. Employees in the Office of Emergency Management on the 23rd floor of World Trade Center Building 7 continue preparations for Tripod, a biological attack drill scheduled for September 12th. Finally, the National Reconnaissance Office in Virginia begins a drill at 8:45, conducted by a team from the CIA, in which a plane crashes into their building. Also, a number of war games were being conducted that have yet to be fully disclosed.
Ask about the war games that were planned for 9/11.
Commissioner Gorelick.
Could you please be quiet? We have only a few minutes with General Myers. I'd like to ask a question. General Myers, I'm sorry.
I would ask, please, people in the audience to be quiet if you want to stay here.
So I say that this commission has not answered my questions. I'm walking out. It's a farce. I will. Thank you.
So let me get this straight. On the morning of 9/11, the United States is running drills in which hijacked aircraft go in and out of radar. Fighter jets are flown out of the United States, and planes are crashed into buildings. What a coincidence.
And in terms of what motivated me to bring all the aircraft down, as you see one thing happen, that's an accident. When you see two of the same thing occur, it's a pattern. But when you see three of the same thing occur, it's a program. And so at that point, I decided to bring all the aircraft down.
And so, at 9:45, all airborne planes were forced to land. This order applied to all civilian aircraft. Certain military planes were allowed to remain airborne. By 12:16 that afternoon, the FAA managed to ground over 4,000 planes without incident.
I want to tell you that we are getting word from New York right now that another building has collapsed. I understand that this is a 47-story building.
It's Building 7 of the World Trade Center, we understand, has collapsed in New York. And there you saw a video of it. Now, whether we don't even know whether this was something that was engineered for safety reasons or it just happened.
For the third time today, it's reminiscent of those pictures we've all seen too much on television before, when a building was deliberately destroyed by well-placed dynamite to knock it down.
In 1984, construction began on World Trade Center Building 7, a 47-story office building, 570 feet tall, and 300 feet away from the North Tower. It opened to the public in 1987 and housed offices for Department of Defense, Securities and Exchange Commission, and the Internal Revenue Service. Building 7 was considered the Central Intelligence Agency's largest station outside of Washington, D.C., and was also the Secret Service's biggest field office. Numerous cases would be closed due to its destruction. On June 8, 1999, Mayor Rudolph Giuliani's Office of Emergency Management Command Center on the 23rd floor is opened.
The command center on the 23rd floor is bulletproof and bomb-resistant, with its own air supply and generators. It's linked to city airports, the Coast Guard, and the Pentagon. Computers will soon have detailed blueprints of every major building in New York City, as well as evacuation routes. Hurricanes and heat waves would be handled here, as well as terrorist attacks. Though New York officials say their facility is not impenetrable, they're confident it could handle even the worst crisis imaginable. Deborah Fayerick for CNN, New York.
The 50,000 square foot center has reinforced, bulletproof, and bomb-resistant walls, its own air supply and water tank, beds and showers, and 3 backup generators. It has countless monitors which oversee police and fire department responses, and it is staffed around the clock. Hours before the first plane would strike the World Trade Center, Building 7's alarm system would be placed on test status at 6:47 a.m. for a scheduled period of 8 hours. This normally occurs during maintenance, and any fire alarms from the building are disregarded. After the second plane strikes the South Tower, the building's power is shut off and its tenants are evacuated. The major fires in World Trade Center 7 were as follows. On the east face, between floors 11 and 12. On the north face, on floors 7 and 12. On the west face, between floors 29 and 30. Smoke obscures the entire south face of the building. By 3 p.m., Chief Daniel Nigro of the FDNY had set up a collapse zone around Building 7. After 4 p.m., news outlets began reporting that the building had collapsed.
We are getting information now that one of the other buildings, Building 7 in the World Trade Center complex, is on fire and has either collapsed or is collapsing.
We've got some news just coming in, actually, that the Salomon Brothers building in New York, right in the heart of Manhattan, has also collapsed. Now, more on the latest building collapse in New York. You might have heard a few moments ago, I was talking about the Salomon Brothers building collapsing. And indeed it has. Apparently that's only a few hundred yards away from where the World Trade Center towers were. And it seems that this was not a result of a new attack. It was because the building had been weakened during this morning's attacks. We'll probably find out more now about that from our correspondent, Jane Stanley. Presumably there were very few people in the Salomon building when it collapsed. I mean, there were, I suppose, fears of possible further collapses around the area.
That's what you would hope, because this whole downtown area behind me has been completely sealed off and evacuated, apart from the emergency workers. That was done by the mayor, Rudy Giuliani.
Jane, I think many of us, when we heard the news, perhaps on the radio earlier today, were completely flabbergasted by it and just couldn't comprehend it. I mean, it almost sounded too far-fetched. I was wondering what it felt like for you being in Manhattan. Well, unfortunately, I think we've lost the line with Jane Stanley in Manhattan. Perhaps we can rejoin her and follow that up later.
Where did CNN and BBC get their information, especially considering the building was still standing directly behind their reporters? The collapse of the building at 5:20 p.m. would cause speculation as to how it fell. The collapse of the main structure takes place in approximately 6.5 seconds. And the building falls symmetrically into its own footprint, barely damaging the surrounding structures. It will create a pyroclastic cloud that mushrooms down surrounding streets. Initially, it is assumed that the building's diesel tank may have been responsible for the collapse. The Federal Emergency Management Agency's report in 2002 will state that the specifics of the fires in WTC-7 and how they caused the building to collapse remain unknown at this time.
FEMA does analyze the collapse of Building 7, but then they say our best hypothesis has only a low probability of occurrence. This needs further investigation. And I certainly agree with them on that. And then NIST is handed the ball. It's kind of a hot potato. Okay, NIST, you have explained the collapse of World Trade Center 7, this rapid, straight-down collapse of this 47-story skyscraper.
Sadly, by this time, virtually all structural steel from Ground Zero had been recycled. And no steel was recovered from Building 7 for investigation. As of this date, NIST is still working on their final report.
NIST decoupled the study of the collapse of Building 7 from the analysis of the collapse of the towers. So now it's sitting over here. The report on the collapse of Building 7 from NIST is long overdue. We're still waiting for it, hoping they have an explanation.
We are looking at it. There's actually a very good write-up recently from Controlled Demolition Experts, which you probably ought to read. We haven't finished the investigation yet, so I'm not at liberty to talk about any intermediate findings.
The collapse is assumed to be caused by a combination of fire and structural damage. Did any other surrounding buildings suffer a complete collapse at near freefall speed? Building 3, a 22-story building directly below the Twin Towers, was split in half by the South Tower's collapse. Although the building was severely crushed by falling debris, the structure remained standing. Building 4, a 9-story building east of the South Tower, was almost completely destroyed. The remaining structure did not collapse. Building 5, a 9-story building east of the North Tower, suffered from severe fires and structural damage. Building 6, an 8-story building between the North Tower and Building 7, suffered a giant gouge in its roof and severe fires. Neither Building 5 or 6 suffered global collapse. Neither did the Deutsche Bank building, which stands to this day and is currently being demolished beam by beam. Neither did the Millennium Hotel across the street. Building 7 burns over a number of floors and suffers structural damage to its south face before collapsing completely to the ground. Did anything occur inside the building that might cause a collapse?
We started walking down the stairs. We made it to the 8th floor. Big explosion. Flew us back into the 8th floor. And I turned to Hesh. I said, this is it. We're dead. We're not going to make it out of here.
And we have Frank Uciardo back on the phone with us, Brenda, with some New York City officials. Frank, go ahead.
That's right. I'm standing here right now just off Broadway by City Hall with Michael Hess, who is the city's corporation counsel. Mr. Hess, you were trapped in, I believe, 7 World Trade Center. Go ahead, sir.
Yes, I was. I was up in the Emergency Management Center on the 23rd floor, and when all the power went out in the building, another gentleman and I walked down to the 8th floor where there was an explosion, and we've been trapped on the 8th floor with smoke, thick smoke all around us for about an hour and a half. But the New York Fire Department, as terrific as they are, just came and got us out.
Their experience is mentioned by NIST's interim report on Building 7. However, the authors claim it is the collapse of the North Tower. The glass on the ground floor was not even blown out. Would debris and smoke rushing up the stairway be described as an explosion? So, we have a 47-story steel-framed skyscraper, which housed various government agencies and numerous important documents, damaged less than the other World Trade Center buildings. At 5:20 p.m., all structural elements inside Building 7 simultaneously fail, and it collapses symmetrically, imploding into a pile of rubble. This building had 81 columns, 24 core, and 57 perimeter, running from the basement to the roof. For the building to have collapsed the way it did, all 81 of these columns had to collapse simultaneously. Could fires on a few floors have heated up all these columns to the breaking point at the same time? Let's ask the 9/11 Commission.
Governor King, may I ask another question, please? At 5:20 p.m. on September 11th, World Trade Center building number 7, 47-story modern frame steel skyscraper that no plane hit, collapsed into a neat little pile onto itself and exhibiting all the characteristics of controlled demolition. FEMA, in their investigation, they didn't say that. They said that the fire must have knocked it down, but they couldn't figure out how. Video evidence shows what appears to be explosive squids going up the side of the building from south to north or from bottom to top as the building collapsed. There was molten metal found in the basement of the building at temperatures that exceeded anything a normal fire could cause. With all the confusion about what happened to Building 7, why is there not a word about the collapse of that building in the 9/11 Commission report?
We didn't see any evidence of the kind of thing you're talking about. We thought that was part of the tragedy of 9/11. They were building collapsed later on. There was not a loss of life in that building. And it was not part of our report.
Not part of the report. Thanks.
Governor? So for the 9/11 Commission to totally ignore that, I think is unconscionable and shows that they did not do a thorough job.
Did Building 7 collapse because of damage from the falling North Tower? Or was it also a controlled demolition?
27 jaar ervaring in het slopen van gebouwen met explosieven. Hij is de absolute top in Nederland. Zijn reactie op de beelden die we laten zien is onbevangen.
Zie je vanaf boven gaan? Nee, je gaat vanaf onder.
Die gaat vanaf onder, ja.
Toch?
Ja.
Ze hebben gewoon kolommen weggeblazen. Het is nagesprongen.
Dit valt anders dan het World Trade Center.
Vind je niet dan?
Ja, je ziet het, de onderste verdiepingen gaan eerst.
Ja, en de rest zakt er gewoon in. Dus dit is controlled demolition.
Zeker weten?
Zeker weten. Dat is nagesprongen. Dit is in opdracht gebeurd. Dat heeft een team gedaan van experts.
Maar dit is ook op 11 september gebeurd.
Dezelfde dag?
Dezelfde dag.
Dezelfde dag? Weet je dat zeker?
Ja.
Was het zeker weten de 11e? Dat kan hij waar zijn.
7 uur nadat de World Trade Center naar beneden viel.
Ja? Hebben ze hard gewerkt.
In the aftermath of 9/11, citizens and politicians alike would demand that steps be taken to ensure such attacks never happen again. In late January 2002, Senate Majority Leader Tom Daschle receives calls from both President Bush and Vice President Dick Cheney, urging him to limit the investigation to the House and Senate committees. The administration would continue to oppose the investigation until November 2002, when Congress creates the National Commission on Terrorist Attacks upon the United States to make a full and complete accounting of the circumstances surrounding the attacks. Democratic leaders concede several aspects after the White House threatens to create the commission by executive order, giving themselves considerable control. President Bush officially signs it into law November 27, 2002, and names Henry Kissinger as chairman of the 9/11 Commission. The Chicago Tribune puts it best. Kissinger is known more for keeping secrets from the American public than telling the truth. On December 13, 2002, Kissinger resigns from the 9/11 Commission, due mostly to a congressional demand that he disclose his private business clients. It would later be revealed that Kissinger was the chief advisor to the Bush administration regarding the Iraq War, a lie which has now cost more American lives than 9/11 itself. Thomas Kean and Lee Hamilton are named as chairman and vice chairman of the 9/11 Commission. By December 16, 2002, the 10 initial members of the 9/11 Commission have been appointed. And the man missing from this picture? Philip Zelikow, Executive Director. He would shape both the commission and its final report. The 9/11 Commission begins its investigation with a time frame of 18 months and a starting budget of $3 million. The 9/11 Commission begins its investigation with a time frame of 18 months and a starting budget of $3 million. January 27, 2003. The 9/11 Commission holds its first hearing in Washington, D.C. Vice Chairman Lee Hamilton will claim a few days later, "We're not interested in trying to assess blame. We do not consider that part of the Commission's responsibility." March 26, 2003. The Bush administration denies the Commission's request for an additional $11 million in funding. 3 days later, the Commission is offered $9 million, and they accept. In April 2004, President Bush agrees to testify before the 9/11 Commission, but only if Vice President Dick Cheney joins in. Why did they insist on appearing together?
The 9/11 Commission wants to ask us questions. That's why we're meeting, and I look forward to meeting with them and answering their questions.
I was asking why you're appearing together rather than separately, which was their request.
Because it's a good chance for both of us to answer questions that the 9/11 Commission is looking forward to asking us, and I'm looking forward to answering them.
On April 29th, 2004, behind closed doors, President Bush and Vice President Dick Cheney appeared together before the 9/11 Commission for approximately 3 hours. They are not placed under oath. Their testimony is not recorded, and the Commission's notes are subject to White House censorship.
President, as you know, a lot of critics suggested that you wanted to appear jointly with the Vice President so that you two could keep your story straight or something.
Yeah.
Could you tell us what you think of the value of appearing together and how you would answer those critics?
Yeah, first of all, look, I mean, if we had something to hide, we wouldn't have met with him in the first place. I came away good about the session. I think they found it to be useful. Yeah, Adam.
Mr. President,
Yes.
don't you think that the families deserve to have a transcript or to be able to see what
Adam,
you
you
said?
asked me that question yesterday. I got the same answer, yeah.
May 19th, 2004, Rudolph Giuliani testifies before the 9/11 Commission.
We will now hear from our first witness, the very distinguished former mayor of New York City, Rudy Giuliani. Mayor Giuliani, would you please rise and raise your right hand and place you under oath?
And the fact that so many of them interpreted it that way kept a much calmer situation and a much better evacuation. These people.
I would please ask.
Thomas Paine and Lee Hamilton will later claim in their book, Without Precedent, that they were too soft on Mayor Giuliani. One of the questions they failed to ask was who warned him that the South Tower was going to collapse.
Mr. Mayor, can you hear me?
I can, Peter.
Are you talking about did you go immediately to the Office of Emergency Management?
I went down to the scene and we set up headquarters at 75 Barclay Street, which was right there with the police commissioner, the fire commissioner, and we were operating out of there when we were told that the World Trade Center was going to collapse, and it did collapse before we could actually get out of the building.
Who didn't warn everyone in the building?
I admire that greatly, and I think that may very well be one of the reasons for your leadership and your cooperation with this commission.
The 9/11 Commission would release its final report on July 22nd, 2004, and closed its doors on August 21st.
So the 9/11 Commission was a cover-up. The question is what it was covering up. The charitable explanation is gross negligence, malfeasance, misfeasance, and what you call it, okay?
If you can't read all 571 pages of the report, in August 2006, the 9/11 Report comic book was released. It should tell you all you need to know. On the morning of September 11th, 19 Arabs boarded 4 commercial airliners at 3 different airports and crashed them into the World Trade Center and the Pentagon with 0 military intervention. Or, we have been and continue to be lied to about the events of September 11th, and that elements within the United States government and mainstream media continue to cover up the truth. These are the same people that lied about weapons of mass destruction. They endorsed a lie that's killed several 100,000 innocent people overseas. Could they also endorse a lie that killed almost 3,000 innocent people in our own country? Our entire foreign and domestic policy has been based upon the events of September 11th. It has enabled the passage of Patriot Act 1 and 2. established the Department of Homeland Security, facilitated the invasions of Afghanistan and Iraq, and used to pass the Military Commissions Act, which officially ended habeas corpus.
Habeas corpus in Latin means you have the body. It's a provision in the law where no one can just scoop up someone, put them in a black hole, and keep them there without that person having the right to appeal to a court and say, you have the body, now what do you charge this person with, and what redress does he or she have?
As well as domestic surveillance, all in the name of fighting terrorism. And who ends up paying for all this? You do. Your children do. When President Bush entered office, he inherited a $284 billion surplus. His administration is now responsible for 4 out of the top 5 deficits in history. The 5th place belongs to his father. As of November 2nd, 2005, the Bush administration had borrowed more from foreign nations than all previous administrations combined. From 1776 to 2000, 42 presidents borrowed a total of $1.01 trillion from foreign governments and institutions. From 2001 to 2005, the Bush administration alone borrowed $1.05 trillion. Where does this money go? The government designed by the people, for the people, has turned its back on us. Or have we turned our backs on it? They spy on us. They torture and imprison innocent civilians. Ask yourself, what's happening? Where are we headed? And would we be here today without 9/11?
REFM, thought-provoking, always smoking, lyrics like a bazooka. You are listening to Mutabaruka.
Today is the 11th of September 2014. 2 buildings fell. Some Arabs fly plane in the building. And the world was never the same. I hope you're still there with me now. I hope you're still there with me. And some serious documentary them there now. Some investigation, no easy.
With Mutabaruka, we are listening to all of it. Can I hear?
Watch the speaker box. Watch the speaker box.
Bazooka. You are listening to Mutabaruka.
Cutting edge.
Yeah, greetings, Muto.
Blessed.
Yeah, I didn't really plan to be on the air, but I just want to say, boy, I just love what the eye is doing and saying and putting out for the people, you know?
Give thanks.
Especially all them dub here when I hear before.
I tell you, them sweetie, man. Them sweet like the man in your man.
We bring forward dub on a regular basis.
Yeah.
I dub to play.
Well, me once looking here, I enjoy it. That play it.
But you know what I wanted to talk to you about is the subject you bring up about how the African can identify themselves.
As African.
You know, on the plantation, a serious experiment running and the education system is still perpetrating it.
Yeah.
Because, first of all, they're not talking our language, you don't know says Martin again. So we're kind of wired up in their neo-colonialism thing and in the motherland mentality and thing. So it's this whipping not to hold on to your language, which is the culture, is why the people are so disconnected. It was a planned situation, and I really don't know if we have the time to correct it.
Well, we have the time, you know, because that we are trying to, you know, we are bring every means possible to show them, say, it's necessary and important to recognize yourself, you know. So we have to keep repeating it, you know.
I love the way you put it this evening, though, because that is going to make a lot of ones think now.
Which one are the ways? You mean about the...
When you say, okay, here's Jamaica, and you have a set of people that are Arabs, that are Jamaicans,
Chinese,
and you
yeah.
have white people that are Jamaicans, and you have Indian that are Jamaicans. So where the black man sitting now?
Mostly African,
man have to go and feel that.
Yeah.
I don't know if you remember a program you had a few weeks ago, where you were talking about the same subject, and a man call you and tell you saying he's not a African.
Oh, you're from England. Yes, him go to the embassy them and them tell him say man African.
Right, well, so the next day I booked a taxi man and he was listening to the program the night before and he was saying, tell me what you think about that program. And I said, well, yeah, check some out, telling him the right thing. Man, the man ready for putting out them car. Saying, I'm not no African, and the man quarreled the whole way to him destination.
We are the only people quarrel when people tell us we're African, We want to fight,
No, son.
We want to fight when people tell us we're African, man. I tell you.
The man nearly put out them car. I think it's only rain why I've never put my
Vex. You can go associate with African.
Vex with a capital B. Anyway, love the dubs and keep up the great work. And I'm listening tomorrow when you call. You see?
All right, Mama. Give thanks.
Okay, Rastafari. Blessed and happy Mascram.
Yeah, man. Blessed you too.
Yeah, man. One love.
Come up, ball of fire. Come up, Hare Krishna. Come up, ball of fire. Come up, Hare Rama.
Yeah, blessed.
Yeah, man, blessed, Alabama.
Yeah, man, how you doing?
Oh, God, how you do, sir?
Good day, man.
You make Africa look like a Miami, man.
Well, at that, we have to show them. We have to show them, say, no fires, hold them to that thing.
You can't hold all the ride from half a tree now and go Africa, eh?
The journey longer than the stay. Because we travel about 4 days, we did it 2 days. That serious thing.
Yeah,
man.
It's really a thing. But yeah, man, we give thanks to come forward.
Yeah, man.
If you don't know nobody listening, say Alabama, you start listening, lucky.
All right, sir. Yeah, man.
And that's we have a conversation, me and some bridging earlier about African. That's even some youths where they African now, them come about the place and I work, and we are talk to them as from Jamaica, say excited about Africa. You know them way there to meet African, and you realize say them not have that zeal and energy where we are come within Africa. Them are tell about European ideas, and I say, wow, I saw this thing are deep, man.
Then I say the leaders them, so the leaders them run Africa. And some European ideas them are run Africa with,
Yeah.
So
I tell us that way. That's why Medical Sister the call the other day, and she have this idea of starting an African club over UWI that she really want to bring forward to you. And yeah, so it's a launch will either go on next week, I think. We'll forward and come through as well. But it is very important and necessary. Yeah. And no better place to start it than in the university where they might teach this.
So where shall go do up there?
Well, she have a club Africa every Thursday. Every Thursday she keep the meeting them.
Okay.
Yeah, so she actually contact you forward still more about that still. But
yeah, but it's a Thursday my idea down as well.
Yeah, that is a big thing because just she really want you to that. So I know she have to figure that out.
Yeah, all right. Work it out.
Yeah, go figure. But with that necessary, the college man say students and ones learn up in African side and the roots, Yeah. I wonder if we could ever get one little African subject being taught in high school. We never want to go too deep, but just in general, countries in Africa, capitals, the economy, that them little basics, even that, if at the primary school level, even that would have happy with,
Yeah, all right.
So, it's a big shoes, but we have the journey, have to start, we want to do more than just a top and we want to go out and do the thing then.
All right, sir. Blessed man, give thanks.
Yes.
So when you say you come?
You know, so me have to do my friend party. Me have to do my friend party.
Okay. Yeah. Well, every Sunday we have party. Every Sunday we have party too. Every day, so I don't know.
So, well, when me have a link, you know, so I come already to find that place and could find, you know, Raytown.
Well, I don't Raytown, man. You go to Raytown, I don't Raytown with it. West Street, over time I tell you.
West Street.
Oh, yeah,
well,
man,
me have a link and me trailer.
You know which part, Darling Street Police Station there?
Okay.
Right
Don't
at Coronation, man. Yeah, man, right there, so man. You can't set up, you look at the digital building down the road, man.
Yeah?
Yeah, man, this big digital building down the road. If you look from top of the road and look down there, you see the big digital building.
Okay, I'm going to try to find. I have a link still.
All right, sir.
I have the earthing book that's here.
Yeah, man. Give thanks, yeah?
Give thanks. Yeah, man, blessed God.
I see.
Queen Elizabeth, you will not turn it. Prince Charles, will not turn it. Hare Krishna, wheel is turning. Baby Krishna, wheel is turning. Hare Krishna, wheel is turning. Baby Krishna, wheel is turning.
I think Lee Perry easy. Lee Perry said, Queen Elizabeth will not turn. Prince Charles, your wheel not turning. Hare Krishna, your wheel not turn. Yes. Ball of fire. Lead Scratch Perry, dub style.
Come up, Hare Krishna. Come up, Hare Rama. Hello.
Yes, hello, Hare Krishna. Yes. Continent.
Yes, Father Muta.
Blessed man.
Blessed night. Yeah, the conversation I listen to it and I love the way you push the fire. But the thing where I realize with the youth in Jamaica where don't understand them blackness or rate them blackness. You see in America with a black youth, when a black youth out there, you know, always find that white man to remind him saying he's African, you know.
Yeah, because the situation where he find himself, you know, as a minority.
Yeah. Alright, because the struggle where most black Americans go through. You, them are Jamaican to grow up around too much white people to realize or forget that reminding point to say, yo, we was slaves and we was captured from back then till now, you understand?
Yeah.
So when the youth them in Jamaica, them not really literally get the remindance there. The youth them in America fight a bigger struggle when it comes to being black.
Yeah.
Because when I go over there and I walk, you all work in a store and a woman come by something and you're the clerk as a black man or a black woman. And then with still other family I tell you, say, you's a monkey. You understand? I work around some white teeth and she look at me and I tell me, say, she has struggled day by day to pay her bill, but she look at me and tell me, say, that people for wake up and realize and a white people make them backward so in her life. We create our own backwardness, but all she has created and I talk about it is like, you can know, so she have that gene of a white person where grew up with a white concept, where against we as black.
Yeah, she feels that you're white, and the black man, she feels that you're white.
Yeah.
And the white man
so that is the whole thing. When you so that is my whole point of view and take of it. When you're the American in first world country, the France, England, and one of them places, you're going to always find
you get four to realize that you're black. You get four.
Yeah, you get to realize more so you're black because the first in them category of African American or Hispanic or Caucasian or whatever you may call it. You understand? Jamaica, we just say we are Jamaican. You understand? Nothing black to our name.
Yeah.
Yeah, so there's nothing to remind the youth them as youth as myself. If we not go out there and go up on YouTube and read and find out and go Google certain things, we don't remember and see the struggles most time.
Yeah.
And the youth them America will face it now till it come down to the local youth near Mike Brown and them people and now. That's why I see these people in America, you know say black people quick to stand up because them fight it wicked.
Yeah. Them have racism right now, them living room.
They in them eyes, so them see
Right
it every
now,
day. So it's not hard to tell a youth, so yo, you're black.
Yeah, but the problem with me have now with that now. Them still not say them African. Them just say them black.
No, I agree, you know.
Them just say them black, but them not associate with Africa too. Them still not associate with Africa.
I agree. But the thing with those first world countries, you will find somebody strongly believing in them white power and them white whatever it is, which we're not against that. But them would always remind us, say, you're African. Your genes come from Africa.
Yeah,
because when a police hold the America, you know, and look on your ID, your driver's license, tell us you use African American.
Yeah.
You understand? So wherever you go, your birth paper, it tells you use African American.
Yeah.
Them keep on reminding you.
Yeah.
So the youth them are Jamaica, yeah, I agree, say them black. But the African gene, them I agree, so them keep it and them not to defend it that much.
Yeah, no, them not defend Africa.
Because I go and give a drama. I have a woman. Me and she get in a them argument. The regular thing she turn up on TV pan me. Who me no born in Africa? Me born in Jamaica.
Hey, we are the only that people will fight up the African thing, you know.
You know, greatest thing I give thanks for in a life still. Father Muta, that I was a youth that grew up in a Jamaica from my parents were never rich, but could have pushed it to a level that me could have go see the world.
Yeah.
And when you go out there, you used to think as how much Jamaican people think and concern much about the Africa. And then me as a man I come out of a Rasta family, brother a Rasta, mother a Rasta, father a Rasta, and me's a ballad.
Yeah.
So when you go to know, I come from a Rasta home here, Africa, have to unite and all of these things and Colungi them and I listen Cape and them as a ballad and I see what I go on at the Rasta roll. And then when I go out there as youth now, go out, they get older and older and older. You realize the people in America as black man, white people will always be there to make them, remind them.
Yeah.
So yo, Africa. And then you start realizing even they're on the driver's license.
Yeah.
You realize they're on the identification card. Alright, check the next thing. It's a regular thing, if you look on a man in Jamaica and say I heal and him face on the distance, you know. But when you go to America, you know, what they call a green card?
Alien citizen.
Alien card, you understand?
Yeah.
But I'm gonna jump up and glad and love the green card. But in now, remember, say...
The green card give him certain privilege in America.
Exactly.
Yeah,
but in now, remember, the brand where it come under.
Yeah. Anyway.
You understand? Because you just admit that he's a really alien, you know. You're not part of this world.
Well, when you say alien, you mean alien in America.
Yeah, alien in America, exactly. That is... Here, shine it, sing it, man. I'm a alien.
Yeah.
Basically that matter, but that is when we really call for tell us you them a Jamaican need to wise up and know so we have it good as black youth growing up in our Jamaica.
Give thanks,
and so out of many one and even Africans, them say out of many one people what them say out of what? The motto? How the motto go again?
Out of many one people.
Yeah. We
the same American thing, man.
Yeah. We realize and know so out of the many that we are the black people as the many.
Yeah, we are the African.
We are the African.
Alright, bless it. We have to move. Are you here, Virgin?
Alright,
yeah, man, give thanks. Yes.
Keep up the good work.
Cutting edge.
She's royal on the steel pan. Taurus run the big tune. Run it.
know that from a coming here, I see Brian I twist up the back of him here, them, you know. Like him a try a thing, you know. I twist, take him on and I twist up the back of him here. Watch it, you know, might buy a comb for you, know. We're not twist up here inside, so, you know.
You are listening to Mutabaruka.
This is love, Rasta love.
I could take a little one call. I said, yes, Rasta man, check for you. Believe you me. Here, who the on the phone here?
Yeah, Muta.
Alright, blessed man.
Yeah, man, I respect, man.
Yeah, man, we're there.
Yeah, I call from St. Thomas, Muta.
Yeah, but you know, say not how long for talk, though.
Oh, we not talk too long still.
Yeah, go on now, where you
But, you know, say, we have a 86-year-old father, Muta.
Eh?
And, yeah, him, I man, he's a bit of a man in time and go a bathroom and thing, you know? And in space of a week, the man just gone, left the man, and they carry the man down and pinch it man to the hospital. And they make sure the man 2 times. And all of them can't tell me nothing what about the man foot. Them admit him Tuesday, and them let him out Friday evening, that's last week.
And him still can't walk.
And his foot, them still can't walk, and they still can't tell me nothing about the man foot. But we can't understand. I don't know the system, I don't really know about.
How much you say is? 80 how much?
86.
And him still a walk?
No, man, yeah, he used to walk, man. Get up a one time, go back to make him breakfast and everything before he do something. Well, you have to know, say 86 gone far still, you know. Yeah, me know, still. So if him did a walk, just tell a day and know him stop walk. Give thanks, still say, him still a see. Yeah, man, he must see everything. I must eat everything.
If doctor can't tell you what to do well, you have to just work with it and just make sure say you just do what I'm supposed to do. You do what I'm usually do when you walk. You know, you have to just go and help him because 86. But I don't know if I could have reached it, so. You know, why? Hey, I'm far that day, though. That's the far. Because I know Brian not reach it, so you know, but we don't let him be reach it, so you know. Because yeah, young people are sick from some things, you know, we are pure old people supposed to sick from.
Yeah, true.
So when my mother about that age, too, you know.
Okay.
Yeah, my mother that age, she can't walk. She in a wheelchair.
Eh?
Yeah, long time my mother in a wheelchair, man. She don't get stroke and afraid to get up again, and after we are trying with her up, she just afraid. Okay. And her foot just get petrified and just dead. So years, she just dead. She can't walk.
Eh?
Yeah, man. 86 too. I think 86 today, I know 87.
Yeah, man.
No, man, I'm glad. When me hear 87 and somebody there 87, man, I have to feel good, Rasta. Because right now, trust me, you see all Matrix there? Believe you me.
I'll feel you
tell you, it is a serious thing. It's a serious thing, you know. When you reach hey, watch a man, 80 are far from me, you know. I mean, can you imagine how it's far from you, you know, Brian? 80 are the old, let's take 80 are the old, you know. All 60 years time, you know, 86 years old, you know. All 6 years time. No, wait there. All 60 years time, even not reach 87, you know. Brian, not that, no, you know. All 60 years time. That time it dead and gone long time, you know, and I come back again, you know. No, I tell you, them time it dead and gone and I come back again. When the 86, 60 years from now, and Brian is not 86 yet. Oh gosh, but you know how much roads me making a heaven and come back? Enough roads, me I go heaven and I come back and I go back to heaven and I come back. Rice, the man called Jimmy Riley, said, check for you. I'm a check for you too. So I know Jimmy Riley go work.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Girl, you got the best of me, and that I can't ignore. Girl, I'm needing your body. Never felt like this before. You got me hooked in your love, and I just can't get enough. You got me wanting more and more and more. I just can't stop. I check for you, girl. There are some unchecked.
Shakespeare, believe me. So we're going to close it fine and remember to come forward there. What's that?
I caught you where I want you, y'all. They must want like them nice. Them no nice like we. And I go like them sweet. Them no sweet like we. Them a go like them high, but them take it so low. And I go like them mature.
You are listening to Mutabaruka.
Them a go like them nice. Them no nice like we. And I go like them sweet. Them no sweet like we. Them a go like them high.
Yeah, I remind you that the Hanover Hemp and Ganja Farmers Association will hold its second meeting this Sunday, September the 14th, at the SDC office, Watson Taylor Park, Lucea Hanover, at 4 p.m. All herb farmers, drinkers, laters, and smokers are invited to attend. Please be on time. The meeting starts at 4 p.m. So if you want more information, call 362-1441. That is the Ganja Farmers Association. And I hope the Ganja Farmers Association tell people they must save the seed them, you know. Save the ganja seed them. It's going to be very important, little more. You know, so the government are dragging football to make a decriminalize ganja how long, you know, and them not do it. I wait for election thing come on, you know. We use it for the people them. Just like how them tell the people them say, them are got examine buggery law. And them are going to get rid of the queen. Them liars say.
Like we. Them not nice like we. Have no love, you see.
You are listening to Mutabaruka.
Yeah, so we're gone, you know, until later. We're there forward again. We give thanks to the moment and the time and the energy.
And I go like them sweet. Them no sweet like we. Them a go like them high. But them take it so low. And I go like them care. But them not sincere. Them no nice like we. Good nice like we. Them no nice like we. Them no King Selassie. Them no nice like we. Them no Marcus Garvey. No nice like we. Them no Sister Nanny. Them a go like them rough. Them not rough like we. And a go like them tough. Them not tough like we. Them a go like them high. But them take it so low. And I go like them care. But them not sincere. Them not nice like we. Not nice like we. Them not nice like we. Have no love, you see. Them not nice like we. Have no liberty. Them not nice like we. Them no justice.
I listen to everything.
Them a guani.
I FM on Sunday.
Just a guani.
I FM on
Them a guani.
I FM on Wednesday. I FM on Thursday. I FM on Friday. I FM on Saturday. It's IRFM. And you have an next day?